Stardom really hits it out of the park on their pay-per-views. I am Chris with the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom, February 23rd, 2022, originally on pay-per-view and now available on Stardom World. It's kind of amazing that Stardom can put on big shows without the main championship, the World of Stardom Red Belt, being defended, but they did. That fact points to how deep and talented the Stardom roster is, and they have multiple main event level wrestlers. It was a long card, so let's get started. Since this was a pay-per-view event, there was a pre-match show. The match was a three-way match between Rina, Mei Sakurai, and Waka Tsukiyama, but the rules were a bit different. There would be two winners. If you win via pinfall or submission, you qualify for a future Stardom title shot first, then leave the match, leaving the final two to fight, and the winner of that fight gets the second future Stardom title shot. This seems to be a match type that Stardom is experimenting with. They originally wanted to have Tam, Julie, and Mayu fight in this type of match at the last pay-per-view, but Tam couldn't be on the show, so it was changed to a singles match that ended in a draw, so both qualified. The match was pretty much Waka versus Rina and Mei. Waka Tsukiyama started by going right at Mei Sakurai, while Rina left the ring and let them beat each other up. Rina would come in and out of the match strategically to beat up either Waka or Mei when she was down. Since it was Maka being the target of both her rival Mei Sakurai and Otatai's Rina, she was in the match the most, and when not getting beat up, got some nice crossbodies off. But Waka couldn't hold off two opponents and was pinned by Rina after getting hit by a gory bomb. Rina qualified for the first Future of Stardom title match against Hanan on March 26th. Mei Sakurai and Waka Tsukiyama were left, but the weekend Waka couldn't get much offense to land on Mei. After a well-placed kick by Mei, she followed that with a top corner elbow drop and finally a Falcon Arrow to pin Waka. Mei Sakurai qualified for the second Future of Stardom title match on the 27th against the winner of the match on the 26th. The first match on the card proper was challenger Momo Kogo versus Future of Stardom champion Hanan. I got the feeling that this match was Hanan saying to Momo she still had a ways to go. Anything Momo could do, Hanan could do, and better. Plus she was stronger than the smaller Momo Kogo. Momo started the match quickly, trying to surprise Hanan by opening with a dropkick and a flurry of forearms, but Hanan was able to get control with a judo hip toss. Momo and Hanan traded second rope crossbodies, forearms, and later suplexes in the match, but Hanan was in control for most of it. Momo did get the advantage for a bit when she used her speed to disrupt Hanan and got a 619 to land along with a top rope dropkick. But Hanan put a stop to Momo's speed with a well-placed spinning kick to Momo's head, followed by the Hanan special suplex for a pinfall victory. Hanan will probably hold on to the Future of Stardom belt for a while. My guess is Lady C beats her for it later in the year, maybe during or after the 5-Star Grand Prix. The next match was a tag match between the teams of Momo Watanabe with Ruaka versus Lady C and Utami Hayashishida. This match was another chapter in the Momo versus Queen's Quest story. Lady C came to the ring wearing new Queen's Quest gear. Momo Watanabe and Utami Hayashishida started for their teams, but Momo immediately tagged out. After Utami and Waka traded some shoulder tackles, Momo dragged Utami out of the ring. Outside the ring, Momo got some kicks in on Utami and body slammed Lady C, who came to help, onto the floor. Back in the ring, Utami was holding her own against Waka or Momo, and sometimes both. Otatai had a game plan this match. Once Lady C was in the match, do not let her tag Utami back in. After Utami countered a kick from Momo into a powerbomb, she tagged in Lady C. Lady C wasn't able to hold the advantage for long though. She was double teamed multiple times, took a lot of punishment from Waka and Momo. Utami came into the ring to help Lady C, but was suplexed by Momo and rolled out. That is when Otatai hit Lady C with two finishers, first taking the B driver from Momo Watanabe, then the freezer bomb from Waka. Lady C was pinned by Waka, and Momo wins again against Queen's Quest. This story is leading to a one-on-one match between Utami Hayashishida and Momo Watanabe, and I don't know who will win that match when it happens. The third match was a bit of an odd tag team match. Saki Kashima and Fukigen Death, who were in Otatai, versus Mayu Iwatani from Stars with Tam Nakano from Cosmic Angels. This match was originally supposed to be a one-on-one match between Saki and Mayu, but was changed to a tag match. Mayu Iwatani has connections to all the wrestlers in this match. Saki Kashima and Tam Nakano left Stars, while Fukigen Death was forced to join Otatai, and Meiyu and Tam are not really on friendly terms. Meiyu resents Tam for leaving stars and creating cosmic angels. It's all a bit complicated. Before the bell, Meiyu Iwatani and Tam Nakano fist bumped to show that they put their animosity aside for the match. And when the bell rang, Saki and Fukigen Death attacked with a roll of papers. Throughout the match, there was liberal use of the papers as a weapon, which seemed to frustrate Meiyu. With the exception of one miscommunication, Tam Nakano and Meiyutani showed great teamwork in double team moves even though they had been split up for the last 2 years or so. The combined attacks of Tam and Meiyu dealt with Fukigen Death, and isolated Saki was pinned after a top corner moonsault from Meiyu Iwatani. After the match, it seemed the ceasefire ended, and Meiyu Iwatani pushed Tam Nakano's hand away before leaving the ring. Tam Nakano is going to need some more help in her war against Giulia and Donna Del Mondo, so I could see an alliance being made soon. The fourth match on the card was a special Donna Del Mondo versus Donna Del Mondo's trios match. This was billed more as an exhibition match between friends, no hard feelings. One team was Shuri, Maika, and Himeka, while the other team was Giulia, Mirai, and Tekla. This was a good and hard-hitting match, which is to be expected considering the participants. It's really hard to break down the match. It was mostly just members of Donna Del Mondo beating each other up. There were lots of suplexes, body slams, lariats, and stiff kicks. There are a couple points I would like to highlight. The first is when Mirai piled Shuri on top of Himeka, then body slammed Maika on top of them, and then did a senton bomb onto the pile, crushing all three. The second was an impressive delayed brainbuster by Maika to Mirai. The back part of this match was a preview of the upcoming World of Stardom Red Belt title match between Shuri and Giulia. Both wrestlers didn't hold back and tried to hit each other with their best shots. It was a back and forth affair, but as they were exchanging strikes, the bell rang. Time limit draw. There have been rumors of an upcoming Donna Del Mondo split, and how the title match goes next month will either add fuel or dampen those rumors. The next match on the card was for the Goddess of Stardom Tag Team Championship. Current champs from Stars Kaguma and Hazuki versus the Cosmic Angels team of Unagi Sayaka and Mina Shirakawa. To get this match, Kaguma asked that Unagi and Mina do the Kuma pose, which is the bear ears pose, and they did, and the match was set. Coming into this match, I was not really sure who would win, and I had prepared myself for a title change. Cosmic Angels came to the ring doing their dance like normal. Kaguma and Unagi started for their team, and it looked like this may be a shockingly short match. Unagi and Mina dominated Kaguma for the first portion of this match. It wasn't until Kaguma was able to trip Unagi and get a bit of time after a dropkick that Hazuki was tagged in. There was a cool section where Unagi Sayaka and Hazuki were trading boots to the face for an extended period of time. That is not something you see all the time, trading boots like they were forearms or chops. Mina Shirakawa's spinning elbow looked nice this match also. After Mina Shirakawa kicked out of the Kuma roll, Kaguma and Hazuki kicked into overdrive. Unagi was sent out of the ring, and then a double team neckbreaker was followed by the brainbuster by Hazuki, and finally a diving body press by Kaguma got the pinfall victory for the champs to retain. After the match, Momo Watanabe came to the ring to challenge for the tag belts. She said she had a mystery partner. Kaguma said she could get a title match if she does the Kuma pose. Momo did not, and kicked Kaguma in the head instead. This angered Hazuki, who then agreed to the match. It will happen during the pay-per-view next month. The internet is guessing returning Kagetsu or Natsuko Tora for Momo's mystery partner. My guess is someone else. The sixth match on the card was for the High Speed Championship. Current champ Starlight Kid versus her eternal foe, Azumi. This match was amazing. Azumi and Starlight Kid have been called the future of Stardom for years, and that is starting to come true. Since Starlight Kid joined Odotai, she went up a level, and she became one of the most charismatic wrestlers in Stardom. Meanwhile, Azumi is no longer just a high flyer, but a great submission wrestler who is also filled with a quiet confidence. This match started quick and crisp, as would be expected from two of the best wrestlers in Stardom having a high-speed match. A lot of high-flying, counter submission attempts, and even some fighting to the outside. After Azumi jumped over the corner post to the outside onto Starlight Kid, that is a very dangerous move. Azumi brought Starlight Kid back into the ring and started to change her game plan. She couldn't beat Starlight Kid in a high-speed match, so she started targeting Starlight Kid's arm. Multiple times throughout the match, Azumi would try to apply submission holds to Starlight Kid's arm, but it would get countered or Kid was able to escape. Starlight Kid then escaped Azumi's finishing pin, the Azumi Sushi. It was looking bad for Azumi. Trapped down the top corner, Starlight Kid hit a top rope Spanish fly. Azumi immediately put Starlight Kid in an armbar when they landed, and that scared Starlight Kid away, and she didn't even attempt a pin. That was the last chance Starlight Kid really had for the rest of the match. It was taking all she could muster to not get pinned or submitted. After hitting Starlight Kid with a Canadian Destroyer, Azumi put on a painful looking R submission, the Umuro Uno, on Starlight Kid, who had nowhere to go and couldn't escape, so she submitted. Azumi is a new high-speed champion. After the match, Azumi got on the mic and said she was open to fighting anyone at the pay-per-view next month. Starlight Kid then handed Azumi a mask. Since Starlight Kid joined Odotai, she puts a mask on her vanquished foes after big matches as a show of domination. Starlight Kid was asking Azumi to mask her. Azumi respected Starlight Kid too much, so refused and asked for a fist bump, and Starlight Kid did grudgingly. I'm not gonna lie, my eyes teared up when Starlight Kid asked to be masked. That brings us to the main event, a match for the Wonder of Stardom white belt between champ Saya Kamitani and challenger Natsupoi. Having to follow a great high-speed match is daunting, but Saya and Natsupoi put on a great match. Natsupoi is one of those wrestlers who elevates everyone she's in the ring with, and Saya only has a couple years experience, so I was a bit worried, but I shouldn't have been with Natsupoi as her opponent. Saya Kamitani used her strength advantage over Natsupoi to dominate the beginning of the match. Saya may have been a bit too confident though, and when the match was moved onto the apron, Natsupoi took the opportunity and suplexed Saya on the apron. She followed that by a crossbody from the top corner to the outside onto Saya Kamitani. After that, the match was much more back and forth. Saya Kamitani was really able to show off her athleticism this match. One example that jumped out to me is when she was suplexed off the second rope, but was able to flip and land on her feet. And there was a cool wheelbarrow suplex by Saya on Natsupoi. The smaller Natsupoi could only take so much punishment. Saya hit Natsupoi with a Star Crusher followed by a Phoenix Splash for the pinfall victory. Saya Kamitani retains. After the match, Saya called out her next two opponents, which seems a little overconfident. For night 1 of the pay-per-view. For night 1 of the pay-per-view next month, she wants to fight her stablemate Utami Hayashishida. And on night 2, she wants to fight Tam Nakano. They both came to the ring and agreed. I thought Saya would fight the returning Kairi on one of the nights, but I was wrong. This was a great show with good matches up and down the card. The final 2 title matches beat my expectations, and I'd really recommend watching them. The Azumi and Starlight Kid match felt like it was really important, and is going to be one of those matches that will keep getting brought up in the future. The next Stardom shows are on the 26th and 27th. This has been the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom, February 23rd, 2022. Thanks for listening.